Okay, we're doing our ecological field trip. My 7th graders out in the backfield. We do this every year. I love it. I only have, I think, 12 students right now, so take a look. Thanks. Sorry. And Riley's over here. Take a look. Yeah.
Did we just write like small sentences?
No, just words.
Yeah.
Like, look right behind you. It looks like coyote scat, right? See that? Put that down. Some more coyote scat. Okay. Someone over here. It's so good to get kids outside, get off that Chromebook, get away from the Xbox, and just commune with nature and learn stuff for our ecology unit. It's awesome. I love it. Hi, kids. You don't have to wear your mask if you don't want to. No one's around. So nice is we've got about 40 acres in the back here. There's a little riparian ecosystem. There's some grasslands. We also have some vernal pools out here. In the past, we have seen a red-tailed hawk swoop down and grab a little rabbit and start to consume the rabbit. That was pretty cool. I just couldn't get it to repeat for the next periods, right? We found some crawdads down here when there's actually water in the riparian habitat area. One year we found a dead cat and it had tags on it. So some boys took a picture with their camera and then we called the phone number. And the lady had been looking for the cat for over a year. So we gave her the location of where the cat was. They each got a $20 reward. So they were pretty excited. But what we're really trying to do is, one, that students are going to make detailed observations of this environment. And then we're going to break down what is the biotic things and what is the abiotic things, whether it's humidity or temperature or wind or the topography or the pH of the soil or the minerals or the air or the shade or the shelter or all of those things. And then they're going to be listing things that are biotic, things that are living, like the crows, the black crows and the birds and maybe a hawk. We saw a seagull yesterday, red ants, black ants, lizards. We saw a gardener snake. What else do we see out here? A lot of grasshoppers, flies, dragonflies, like I said, western fence lizard, things like that. And then we start making the connections of how they're interconnected, which things need what to survive. So what biotic things, let's say a lizard, what biotic and abiotic things does it need to survive, All right. Also, I can feel some wind, so we include that. So wind's a part of the ecosystem out here. And then lastly, we finish up by students asking scientific investigative questions. So they need to be designing questions or asking questions, because that's one of the next generation science standards. It's a great skill to have, being able to ask questions. For years, science teachers have been giving the students the questions, but the big change and shift is we as science teachers need to help create an environment where students ask their own questions, and that those questions can be the starting point for their investigations or their experiments. So, for example, I had a boy, and he had a question. He said something like this, if I remember correctly: do ladybugs prefer milk thistle over some other plant? And I'm like, what are you talking about? And he goes, well, when I was sitting there were ladybugs all around me, so I removed them and I put them on this milk thistle plant that I knew what it was, and then the ladybugs would stay there. So then what he would do is he'd take them off that plant and he'd move them to another plant, and they kept going back to the milk thistle plant. So he was wondering if they prefer that plant over others. So I said, all right, well, how could you do an experiment? What are the variables? What are the controls? And it was really cool to see students start to begin to ask questions by observing phenomena. That was a phenomena, right? An event. And then from there, from the questions, they can design their own investigations. Then they do their investigations. From that, they collect data, then they analyze the data, and they create arguments from evidence, and then they communicate the results. So that's what NextGen is asking our students to do. And what better place than being outside in this environment here. So hopefully this video is kind of giving you an idea of how we approach science at Olive Pierce Middle School, and hopefully this video was helpful.